Hey guys, Jik here, and I'm sorry about this guy. I'm a little bit sick right now, so my voice is going to be a little bit weird. But can you guys believe that they released a Tyranitar like this? Like, straight up, he is just so broken right now that he can literally 1v9 the entire team if he gets ahead. Like, you're Cinderace in the back? Nah, you're squished. No, you think you're going to be a Ghastly into a Gengar? Nah, you're squished. You think you're going to be a tank? No, he can execute you. You're just squished. Like, everybody is just getting squished right now. Like, literally everybody's getting squished. And he's already in ranked. They literally released him day one into ranked. You can already find him in this ranked match. So literally anybody and their mother who can afford this boy is going to be playing them in your ranked games, and therefore you're going to need to know how to deal with this guy, because if you just go in blind, you're going to get stomped. You're going to get stomped hard, you're going to lose so much rank, and it's not going to be fun. So luckily I am here to give you my top 3 tips on how to deal with Tyranitar. I've taken him into some custom games, I've played against him in ranked. I've been able to figure out how to deal with this big boy. Let's get right into it, okay? Tip number 1, experience, okay? Tyranitar might be strong, but it doesn't mean anything unless he hits level 9. Until he hits level 9, he does not pop off. Until he hits level 9, he doesn't get his mobility, he doesn't get his major damaging moves. He is just a silly little Lavatar, silly little Pupitar. They are melee character, they can't really get on you. They're weak, okay? They're not super weak, they're still an all-rounder, but like they're not like Tyranitar strong, okay? So, in order to deal with Tyranitar, you're going to need to try to reduce the amount of experience he gets as much as possible, okay? If you can keep him under level 9, then you're going to absolutely decimate his game. He will not be able to do what he needs to do as a Tyranitar, okay? So if he's in lane, try to steal his last hits. Don't let him get bees. Go ahead and control Dreadnought. Just fight him over every bit of experience, because if he gets that level 9, he's going to be able to run you down, he's going to be able to go after you, and it's not going to be a good time. Now, you might say, okay, well, Jik, it's fine, like, yeah, I can deal with him lane, but he goes jungle every single game, because like what you want to do, if you have a character that needs to level up, needs to hit level 9 first in order to, be effective, they're just going to take the jungle so they can do it uncontested. So, if he's a jungle, that's fine. He will be uncontested for like maybe 4 camps of that. If you can, if you're the opposing jungler, or if you're in lane, you have a little bit of time, try to contest him with some experience of that. But just know this, if he goes jungle, okay, it means that they do not have a more effective jungler. They don't have a Talonflame, they don't have a Zeraora, they don't have Lucario, they don't have somebody in that jungle, they don't have a Cinderace, they don't have somebody else in that jungle that can gank you better. Okay, Tyranitar does not gank well. He doesn't have any CC, his damage is okay, he has to get melee on top of you. You know when he's going to come in because you know when the bees spawn, you know when the objectives spawn. You have a good idea when this guy's going to come in, and his gap closer is pretty garbage. Okay, so you know that your jungler is a more effective jungler, therefore you have the jungle advantage. So when he comes in for that 3v2 or that 3v3, you actually have the advantage. So don't worry about if he's in jungle, try to steal his camps if you can, but when he comes in for those ganks on those lanes of that, beat him there, because he's not as strong as your other jungler. You can defeat them in the 3v3, okay? Tip number 2. So, you're playing the game, and because this is solo queue, man, stuff is not going your well. I almost swore there. Stuff is not going your well. The Tyranitar is in lane, he's getting plenty of XP, everything's going just normal for him, and you're just like, oh no, he's gonna be a problem, right? This is where your pregame, tip number 2 and 3 are all about the pregame, okay? Before you go into lobby, you have to have a Tyranitar counter in your team, okay? Just assume that the boy is going to be in the game, okay? The first type of Tyranitar counter is area control counters, okay? The thing about Tyranitar is, this guy can only be effective if he is in like dead center melee range. He literally has nothing that can deal with you out of range. He doesn't have a throw ability, he doesn't have like a breath or anything. He has to get on you in order to do anything. And yes, he'll use his ancient power as a gap closer. He gets a huge speed up to run on in and then stun everybody and and then he'll use his dark pulse, and then he'll use his ultimate to execute everything in the backline, and he'll be a terror. But if you have someone that can area control, that can keep that Tyranitar out, keep him controlled, keep him dealt with of that, you'll be fine, because your ranged DPS can deal with him then, okay? Some great counters that I found to deal with him is number 1, holy cow, Snorlax. So there's Sword Boy. Sword Boy's the one we should be worried about the most. Okay. Or not. Fuck you, Tyranitar! You can't get into the hole! You can't get in! You can't play, bitch! Okay, Snorlax is officially the counter to Tyranitar. Snorlax can jump on him, interrupting his his run in. He can then use his block to just like constantly bump him into walls and like CC chain him so that he just can't do anything. Snorlax hard counters Tyranitar in that regard. Now, is Snorlax a great pick every single game? Not really, he's been scaled out by a whole bunch of other characters, but Snorlax does hard counter Tyranitar. Somebody else that would do well, somebody like Mr. Mime, has similar blocking capabilities. If you want to go with more of a support role, you want to do some more damage with range attacks, but you still want to have that block ability, Mr. Mime will do okay. Mr. Mime will do pretty good. But there is one Pokemon that I am super happy with in dealing with Tyranitar. I've been running him on almost every single game. Blastoise. Blastoise can surf when he's coming on in. He can use his Hydro Pump to CC chain him. If he uses his ultimate, use your ultimate. And this Blastoise is just such a powerful CC unit that can help deal with that Tyranitar long enough so that your ranged DPS can take him out. And while he's doing that, his CC is AoE hitting the rest of the team. So he's not only dealing with the Tyranitar, but he's dealing with the rest of the team. That is why Blastoise is my #1 pick when dealing with a Tyranitar at this point in time, if you're looking from the tank role. Okay, now, if you've been playing the Pokemon Unite long enough, you know that Tyranitar could literally just bring an item called Full Heal. So when he's running in at you and you try to stop him, he can literally press a button and say, no you. Like, your CC is not going to do anything, okay? The Full Heal lasts 2.5 seconds, okay? So if you're playing any of these characters, such as Mr. Mime, Snorlax, Blastoise, or any other CC character that has like heavy CC in their kit, and you notice that your first CC does not work, assume that they've used a Full Heal, wait 2 seconds, and then use the rest of your CC, okay? I know it's going to suck. I know your ranged characters are going to have to deal with Tyranitar for like 2 seconds. Try to help them out as much as you can. Try to get as much damage in, but it's just an item that you're going to have to deal with in the game. But yeah, after those 2 seconds, CC chain them, and you should be good, okay? Tip number 3 is kiting, okay? Tyranitar, like I said, literally his entire game plan is to run you over. Just run on top of you and go smoke. He literally just runs on you and stamps. That's all he does, okay? And if you can keep out of his stampy range, he can't hurt you, he can't beat you, he can't do anything, okay? So you're gonna need a couple good range characters that can deal with his 8,000 HP at level 15, okay? Tyranitar, even though he does tons of damage, he is tanky as heck. Like, he has so much HP, okay? Because he has to run and he has to do stampy stamps, okay? So, how are we going to deal with Tyranitar? A ranged character that can do enough damage to take him out, okay? My top 4 picks for this, Cinderace, #1, okay? Well, like, the first one. He's not the #1, I have a different one, #1 pick, but Cinderace is a really good pick, just for that consistent DPS. They have a dash to get out of the range, stuff like that. If you're playing Cinderace at an optimal level, and they're playing Tyranitar at an optimal level, it's a kind of a 50-50. You're gonna need your team to back you up to keep him off you, or you're gonna have to play like optimally. Maybe you get the red buff in order to slow him as you're like dashing away and attacking him. If you were in that situation, Cinderace is a fantastic pick. Another one that fills a similar thing as Cinderace is Decidueye. Decidueye has a very long range poke that can just keep poking and poking and poking and poking at that that Tyranitar, so that he can never like come in at full HP. And if he doesn't come in at full HP, he's just more of a target. All right, Cinderace's range attack is shorter than Decidueye's range attack, which is why I'm favoring Decidueye a little bit more. And Decidueye's ultimate is like a lot of like consistent damage, stuff like that. It's very sustained damage. So I would put Decidueye just a little bit higher than Cinderace. However, Cinderace for overall game macro is probably better. Similar vein to Decidueye is our #3 pick, which is Venusaur. If you're running that Protect the Venusaur comp, you're just spamming the solar beams over and over and over and over again. And then once they're low enough, you just ultimate with your Verdant Anger. Boom. Dealing with a Tyranitar at range is always your best thing. If you can poke that guy down to like half health before he even comes in, he's not going to be as much of a problem as if he was running it at full health, okay? But, my personal favorite, my absolute personal favorite for dealing with a Tyranitar at all points of the game has to go to Glaceon. that evolution that can just constantly slow Tyranitar. That's the good thing. He, she, whatever gender that Glaceon is, they can just constantly slow Tyranitar, and slowing the Tyranitar is literal death. If that Tyranitar cannot get onto you, if they cannot like put their damage out, stuff like that, they're dead in the water. Okay, they literally cannot do anything without getting on top of you, and Glaceon just keeps that constant CC slow on them the whole time. Yes, Tyranitar can run onto them. Yes, Glaceon doesn't really have an escape, stuff like that, but the Glaceon can keep up with that slowing and walk away. Once that Tyranitar uses their first ability to pop them up, they can just slow them, walk away, keep that range as long as they survive the initial burst, okay? So, with that all being said, those are my top 3 tips on dealing with Tyranitar. If you guys have any other tips or anything that you guys have noticed while playing him over this last day, he just came out today, then drop that information down below, because we all need to pass around information on how to deal with this big boy, because oh my god, he's like taking over ranked. He's literally just like curb stomping ranked all the time. So, with that all being said, if you got to this point in the video, go ahead and throw me a like, throw a subscription if you like the stuff, and we'll see you all next time. Alright, bye guys.